Welcome back, everybody, to the Birdies and Bourbon Show. Matt, I wish we would have met on the golf course, but we'll take virtual for now, I guess. So excited to have Matt Ginella on, formerly of the Golf Channel. I'm sure we'll go down that road a bit. But where are we finding you at today, my friend?
I'm in Oceanside, California here, where I'm just down the street from Goat Hill Park, right above the LINKSOUL offices. Just so happened that we're launching our new production company, or the website. Dawn Patrol Productions is the name of the company. The website is going to be the firepitcollective.com, and that's going to be kind of the whole hub of all of our content. So, storytelling that's coming out via podcasts and obviously digital and social and all this stuff that we're going to be doing is all going to be in the firepitcollective.com. So the offices above LINKSOUL were available here in Oceanside. So it's actually worked out perfectly.
Nice.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Yeah, cool. And we definitely listened to some of the Fire Pit podcasts. So some good stuff and really good interviews. Hopefully we'll get a few stories out of you before we jump off. But one question I do have, and I know you and Mr. Ashworth, definitely seen or heard him on some of your chats. Can you share a little about your affiliation with LINKSOUL and what that relationship is?
Yeah. So, I mean, going back to being a kid, growing up at Oakmont Golf Course in Santa Rosa, California, I wore Ashworth. I loved those golf shirts. I loved Fred Couples. I loved Ernie Els. I loved, that was my time. And I subconsciously didn't know John Ashworth was revolutionizing golf fashion. But you think about it, just as a kid, I waited for those shirts, every season of shirts to come out. I knew when they would arrive. I told the pros, let me know. And, I wore them. I didn't dry them. I would hang dry. It was a real thing for me. I was in love with the brand without even knowing what a brand meant back then. It was just kind of a thing. And then I went on to work at Sports Illustrated, and then worked at Golf Digest and Golf World magazines. And it was early on in my time at Golf World and Golf Digest where I got an invite to come play. Hey, one of my bosses said, "You want to go play?" Yeah, sure. We're going to, who we got? John Ashworth and another guy named Greg. I said, John Ashworth? John Ashworth is playing. I'm playing golf with John Ashworth today. I was like, wait, the guy that started. Yeah. I was like, I've had opportunities to be around a lot of famous, athletes and people. Sure. And other, and I'm not easily starstruck, but for me, John Ashworth, because of, as a kid, what that meant to me, I couldn't believe it. And then he showed up. Nicest guy you'll ever meet, asked more questions of me than I could have of him. It just had a great swing, great, I was like, wow, I couldn't believe I got to meet him. And then he was nicer than you could have ever expected. And we maintained a friendship from that point forward. And at that time he had FIDRA. So he went from Ashworth to FIDRA and now to LINKSOUL. And he started LINKSOUL right at the time I started at Morning Drive for the Golf Channel. And I remember he said, hey, you want to wear our stuff? And I was like, yeah, great. Please. Oh my God, LINKSOUL. Well, at that time, his line, he only had 4 golf shirts, his line was, he just was, and I was like, Ashy, I kind of need, I'm on every day. I need to, I can't just wear these, he had a pretty simple line. And he goes, no, more coming. There's more coming. And now it's a full-blown lifestyle brand in which I essentially wear it every day, all day, on course, off course. It's just, and now I've become so clean. He's like a big brother to me. He's, we call him Uncle Ashy because he's just he's an uncle figure to my kids now. His wife is great friends with my wife. It's just he walks the walk. There's so many people in this industry who do a lot of talking, but not a lot of impacting of the actual essence and the soul of the game. And,
sure.
But he's not one of those guys. He's if you've ever been out to Goat Hill Park, you'll see him with a shovel, with a rake, in the tractors, he is immersed in the bloodstream of certainly his community and how the game impacts his community. And he's made a big difference, not only to Oceanside and Goat Hill Park, but to all of us who, are sort of true to soulful brands. His is the leader, in my opinion.
Yeah. So you bring up Goat Hill Park. Thanks for segueing us there. I appreciate that. But obviously, if you follow Matt on any of his socials, or if you followed him, on the Golf Channel and your travels and thereabouts, I guess I don't know how many years ago, but maybe double digits, but Goat Hill was going to be closing down, and they were going to it was going to become home sites, et cetera. Right. And I think you were pretty vital in making a voice for, hey, we can't lose this piece of real estate that is Goat Hill Park, the golf course. I haven't had a chance to play it, but definitely looking forward. You want to share that story a bit?
Yeah, just say again, it's I don't deserve any credit whatsoever. It really was John. He knew that this golf course that he grew up playing had fallen in disrepair, and he was tracking. I remember the first time I played it was a 100-hole hike. He had invited me out. I was still at Golf Digest at the time, so it was 2011, 2012, and he invited me out and said, "Hey, let's do this 100-hole hike. Try to bring some awareness to this golf course that it was in bad shape, but had good bones. Been around for over 50 years, and went out and played it. And I was like, oh my God, it's a walk. It's 4,400, 4,500 yard golf course, but I mean, goats can appreciate the change of elevation as you're working your way around this place." And I walked away going, man, and Ashley, I don't know what I don't know, man. This place, it was tough and rough around the edges, and around that community, around that golf course. And he rallied the town. They had a city council meeting because essentially the city was looking to sell it off to a billionaire who's going to churn it up and either make a soccer fields or parking lots or a stadium or something. Yeah. It wasn't going to be golf. And I did do a story on it. We tracked down footage of literally people of the community going forward before the city council saying, this has to stay a golf course. And sure enough, the city said, okay, fine. It'll stay a golf course. We're not good at managing golf courses. John, here are the keys to the car. And they did like a two-year sort of temporary lease to essentially for John to see if this is what he wanted to do and the city to see if John was the guy to do it. And eventually now he has a 50-year lease on this place. They've gone so far beyond saving it. It is such a thriving, surviving, revitalized component to Oceanside. John setting up LINKSOUL in Oceanside. He lives in Carlsbad, setting up the shop. He felt an obligation as a business owner in Oceanside to also sort of have an impact on the community through the golf course. He has since added a kids course, a little 3-hole, 30 to 40 yard shots that off to the side of the golf course. He's just put a ton of money into redoing the whole driving range, creating the foresight, the shot tracking, all the components to making a driving range a cool hang. He's redone greens, tee boxes, fairways, irrigation. He went from potable water to reclaimed water, lowering prices. I mean, they're doing the business of Goat Hill Park. The golf course is thriving, and there's so much community involvement in the projects he does, in the management of the golf course, the events that they have on a regular basis. It is truly one of the most special little slices of golf in not only America but in the world. It's just fantastic.
Yeah. And accolades coming from you, right? I mean, you've definitely done your fair share of traveling and experiencing golf courses around the world. So I want to get into that a little bit with you. I actually want to get into it a lot with you, but so quite a pedigree you've got, right? Just from Golf Advisor, the Golf Network. I mean, we can keep going down that list. how did you, I mean, when did Matt wake up and say, you know what, it's time for me to go do my own thing? I mean, was it an aha moment, or is this something that you were always working towards, or what's the direction there?
Yeah, I mean, I think in some ways I got pushed into it, and in some ways I was pulling myself into it. I mean, it just sort of happens from a evolution of a career path. I mean, I started at Sports Illustrated photo department. I went and got my master's degree in journalism, sort of while I was transitioning from the SI photo department into the Golf Digest Golf World photo department. I was director of photography there, and then got my degree in Golf Digest. Let me start writing. So now I went into writing, and then at that time I had my own blog on golfdigest.com, and I was creating articles, but also taking pictures and then videos. And so you evolve as a journalist there within the media, as the mediums and the platforms and the dissemination of all that kind of stuff is evolving. Then social media comes along, early adopter of social media, and realizing, I see you can, golf being inherently social at its core anyway. We love to say, sure, hey, you got to play, you got to do this, do that. We all share this stuff. So then social media evolved, and then I get the job in broadcasting at Golf Channel. And then I'm learning, now it's a whole other tool set of like telling stories. At the core of it is all storytelling, which is kind of cool. And then, for a couple of years now, I've thought and seen this trend away from, heavy production dollars, eyeballs being dispersed. Where you're getting your eyeballs is, you can't just corral everybody in one spot anymore. You can't just have a niche cable network and distribute, programming to X number of people. Now there's other restaurant. You were the only restaurant in town serving food, and they were going to eat whatever you served. Now it's like, there's another restaurant and another restaurant, another restaurant. Now it's like, now you've got to have good service. You got to have good food. You got to change the menu. If you lose your chef, you might lose the whole soul of the restaurant. I mean, everything is happening, and that's the way you look at it, what I look at it. So it's either like, you can ride on the big aircraft carriers, or go be one of the P boats that can kind of mobilize and get to content that interests you. You guys are doing it. We're all doing it. Anybody who has a passion for being involved in some way, shape, or form, creating some kind of content. The question is, how do you make it unique? How do you make, is it watchable? And then is it watchable and shareable? Those are the two big questions. Make something watchable, and then make sure that it's shareable. And then if you get shareable, now you got a little traction, and now you can have some growth. But I just felt like with the tool set of, photography, writing, and broadcast, and feeling, there's a lot of times where you turn over your content. What if you took your interviews and you gave it to somebody who wasn't a part of the interview, not even interested in the interview, not even interested in the subject matter of the interview, and they are responsible for cutting that up and then putting that out? Wouldn't you probably end up having issues with, well, no, wait a minute. You cut that out? Why would you cut that out? That's the best stuff. And now repeat that 150, 200 times,
Sure.
And there's only so many times where you're like, I don't, only what's on the cutting room floor. No one else knows that. Only how it could have been told. At the end of the day, I'm in a position now to take more ownership over my storytelling, my content distribution and dissemination, and that's to kind of answer, that's what I feel like I've been working towards, is that opportunity to surround myself with like-minded people who care about the game and the subject matter that I'll be covering, that I'll be gravitating towards, and thus having less frustration with the finished product.
You just explained Dan and I's relationship, oddly enough.
All that great content I produce, and Cal chops it up, and
I'm not in the middle of that right now. Honestly.
and Dan, and I'm like going, and Dan's like, "Oh, did you listen to the show?" And I'm like, "Hell no, I didn't listen to it. You took all the good parts out." And he's like, "Yeah, those weren't the good parts." Hey, so
it's subjective, right? I mean, you joke, but there are those, and it's okay. And you guys are two guys who are immersed in your content, so you can have those creative conversations. At the end of the day, you'll have respectful conclusions and come to it. But what if you're talking with someone who wasn't even involved? That's
right.
kind of my point. Right? I mean, you the soul suck of the finished product can only go so far before you're like, that's it. I got to go do this myself.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And I mean, again, I mean, there's probably a little bit of a fear factor in there. I mean, obviously, you're great at storytelling. I mean, you're well-traveled, connections, et cetera. But at the end of the day, I mean, there's that, the execution piece of it. And it's like, hey, is it, because you can put all that shit together in a nice, neat little package. And is it really coming out as to, that end result that you're looking for? And that's, I would imagine that was a hurdle for you, at least, as to, hey, I can do it. I've done it. But now, in the same sense that you're saying, well, here's the content. Now I'm going to hand it off to somebody. So I don't want to say you kind of, you've wiped your hands and it's like, hey, I did my part. But now you are the part, right? It's like you own it soup to nuts, man. I mean, it's you got the whole thing, kind of like the golfer, right? It's like, hey, you can lesson, practice, but at the end of the day, you got to step up and hit the shot.
No, you of course you're fiercely accurate here, and I'm scared to death. I'm sitting here in my new offices, and going to be paying rent here. We relocated my whole family out to the West Coast, and all that is true. I mean, literally scared to death but for all the right reasons, right, and in all the right ways. And quite honestly, I'm kind of sitting in that fear and feeling comfortable in it, trying to get myself comfortable with that, like any other small business owner, like any other person who is transitioning into another careers aspect, that's all very relatable set of emotions and feelings. And at the end of the day, I needed to scratch this itch at some point anyway, right? I needed to either find this out. I needed to find out that I can do this. I can tell a good enough story to enough people in which I can do this for a living, or I'll go mow green somewhere, or caddy, or you know what I mean? Like I've always said when I was at Golf Channel, I was one F word away from being a superintendent or carrying a bag at Bandon Dunes, and that's okay. I mean, that's okay. I'm totally. I feel good enough in my situation right now where we sit January of 2021, where, hey, I'm giving it 1,000%. Yeah. But January 2022, circle back with me. I'll be telling you that I'm caddying at Bandon Dunes and having a great time. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's possible.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's fun that you've got an opportunity to be able to take that. And again, fear, right? I mean, people use it mostly with a negative connotation. And, I don't know, can you, it sounds like you're doing exactly this is, how do you channel that fear into, positive energy that leads you to, a path to success, right? I mean, it's having a plan and not being afraid to step out there. And, again, that, I don't know if you want to call it a cushion or umbrella that, something like, the Golf Channel or the Golf Network kind of gives you that, it's like, hey, I've got something to anchor to, and you now have become the anchor. Yeah. So yeah, it's really awesome.
Crazy. I guess I've been so institutionalized. I worked Sports Illustrated for 6.5 years. Yeah. Golf World for 11 years. Golf Channel for 8 years. That I started as an intern at Sports Illustrated. And that I've only worked for this big, I've only been on the aircraft carrier, and it's been amazing. I mean, the opportunities, the people, the talented people I've worked with or worked for or worked, or had the opportunity to work alongside is ridiculous. SI writers and photographers, Golf Digest writers and photographers, Golf Channel broadcasters, producers. That's a real. I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot from a lot of different people in a lot of different ways and shapes and forms. And a part of me, part of my drive is to do them proud too, to show them, that what they taught me or the time that they spent with me was worth it. And I, I'm really looking forward to it for all, like I said, for all the kind of reasons that, yes, scared, but good scared. Like, think about it. You got athletes play their whole life for a chance to go to a Super Bowl or a World Series. Well, that's scary, but that's the kind of fear you play for, right? You want that fear. I'd rather have the putt to win than be watching someone else putt it to win. Like, yeah, I like you said, I mean, I've had all the conversations with the swing instructor. Now it's time to hit shots. It's on me now. It's there's nobody else, the man in the mirror.
So over I'm going off a path here, but so who in your time at the Golf Channel, who's the best golfer that you've worked with? Meaning that they could have been pros in the past, but somebody that's that was an employee at the channel when you were there. Who's the best golfer?
Well, I mean, John, I worked really closely with John Cook, and I don't.
I know I said no curveballs, and then here I go. But that's not the intent.
It's a fun one.
I mean, there's a lot of guys who've gone in there. Trevor Immelman. I'm not sure that I really worked directly. David Duval. I've been on set with David Duval. I mean, a former number one. In the world. I at Golf Digest. Technically, I worked with Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson. I got to play with with Phil and certainly been on a lot of shoots with Tiger, and they were on the masthead like Jack Nicklaus and all those. But I've probably had too many tips over the years. It's probably actually screwed up my game in a lot of ways. Too many swing thoughts. But I mean, it was kind of one of the surreal things about being in that industry is from time to time you find yourself having golf conversations with guys who won multiple tour events, multiple major championship. You're going, what the hell why do I matter when it's like you're talking to these kind of people? So Annika, for Christ's sake, I work closely with Annika. So
I'm sorry. One of the things that Cal and I were watching the match 2 and the match 3 and all these with Phil, how elevated is his dialogue in those for TV versus like when you go play with him on a one-on-one? Does he still talk nonstop, or what is he like out there?
Yeah, no, I mean, the one time I played with him was after a Golf Digest photo shoot, and he was my partner, and it was at the Bridges in Rancho Santa Fe, and I mean, he was talking constantly. I mean, and it was like, watch me hit this shot. I got this shot, double bad press, I blew it by you. It was constant. It's constant. I mean, and it's just, I think that's just the way he is. I mean, I don't think Phil can do much other than be Phil. He's very good at being Phil, and being Phil is being very over communicative on a lot of subjects.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We caught him in the middle of a sip.
Big sip. So you moved out to California. You missing Florida at all?
No.
Yeah? Glad to be back home, I guess, right?
Yeah. I mean, Florida's an interesting place. And there's obviously some really cool pockets of Florida. Winter Park is one of them. I really love that community. I miss the Friday Skins game at WP9. I miss that golf course. I miss, that's always going to be, that'll always have a soft spot for Winter Park and that golf course. And that time that I had at the Golf Channel, which was very hard and exhausting, and a lot of travel, 180 to 200 days a year on the road, certainly for the last 8 years, for sure. I mean, it was and a lot of early mornings, late afternoon, grindy stuff, but huge opportunity, huge platform, huge growth for me as a person. Got married and had a son and stuff. But California for me is, I'm born and raised in Northern California. So to be back on the West Coast to me is my coast. I lived in New York for 19 years, but I don't look at it as a coast. It's like, that's its whole other Manhattan, and the New York area is just its own place. But no, I'm happy here, and it's 72 degrees every day. It's
now you're just bragging.
No, I can't believe the whole world doesn't find a way to live in San Diego. It's just spectacular.
It's true. Really is. That's true.
Yeah. So let's talk a little about your about the new venture, the new production company you're starting, and what because hey, to be honest, I reached out because I was a fan, right? I always look forward to your segments. Where's Matt playing at now, and you did the buddies list, right? And those are things that me and my golf pals we've definitely watched and taken into consideration, from your vantage point. But now moving into your own production company, right? And I can only imagine that we're going to see a lot more of that, but in the palette that you want it delivered on. So what is it? What's in store for us?
So we have several verticals within the Fire Pit Collective is what we're calling it. So the Fire Pit podcast, we're in the middle of, we started that as COVID hit, April or May. And quite honestly, Alex Upegi, my producer and my partner in Dawn Patrol Productions, and Rex Lint, who is a shooter and editor, we kind of started that because we had nothing else, we literally had nothing else to do. It was quarantine. It was whatever. Yeah. And I always thought I would do a podcast, but I thought, it'll be a byproduct of of my travels. So I would take out audio of the interviews I was doing with people on the road and say, because people always say, have you thought of a podcast? Would you know how to do a podcast? I said, yeah, I do podcasts all the time. It's called an interview. It's like, that's to me is what a podcast was. And, but then I started digging in on, what other golf, I wasn't listening to a lot of golf podcasts. So I started listening, and then it was like, how am I going to be different? How can we make this? How can I make it something that interests me beyond, because if I feel like if it interests me, then maybe hopefully it interests others. But I can't do it if it doesn't interest me. Yep. And we came up with this concept of sort of telling a story with multiple voices, and it evolved through the season, but we were doing it week to week. We would start on a Monday and Tuesday and have no interviews, and do 200 to 400 minutes of interviews throughout the week, and then air it on Sunday. We drop it on Sunday. So we were going sleepless nights and doing all the, and we carried a whole season doing it that way. That was how season 1, 15 episode plus a couple mini pods where we just dropped on the state of the game. And we woke up, we kind of finished. It was like a blur. It was like, oh my God. That was fun and exhausting. And maybe we want to do more. So this time we're actually going to have 8, 9, 10 of them banked before we even start dropping, which is going to be such a better process. And, but we got a lot in the works. I'm very, very excited about a lot of these stories we're trying to tell. And we're going to keep expanding on this concept of multiple voices telling one story, and chopping them up. And we'll go 2 parts or 3 parts if we need to tell longer stories, because I want to keep them around 30 to 40 minutes at the most. But it's going to be telling stories like the building of Stream Song Red and Blue simultaneously. I've got a story on Charlie Sifford, Ben Hogan, Nancy Lopez, little things that I've dug in on and found. It's not just going to be broad-based stuff. Jack Nicklaus catching a 1,400-pound marlin, things like this where and there's going to be multiple voices in every one of them. So that's really cool. And so the Fire Pit podcast, Journeys with Matt Ginella, which will be the traditional travel. So we'll continue to go give sort of exposés on destinations or courses or resorts. And then we're bringing back the Ambush. So at Golf Digest, I wrote a monthly column called The Ambush, in which I would solicit people, buddy trip planners, to say, hey, come tell our story. We're going here, this many people, this is why we go there, traditions, how many years. And and so we're bringing that back in video form. So I'm partnering with Golf Digest and Discovery for distribution of the Ambush and for Journeys. So they allow me the creative control and they sell into my content, or I sell into their eyeballs. So the Ambush will be coming back, which I'm very excited about, because at that time at Digest, it was just a written piece. It would be a picture, the details of the trip, where I always felt it was much better as a video presentation. It could bring those people to life instead of just write their story. So that I'm excited about. And then we also have features. So feature breakouts of anybody I meet along the way, things or places that deserve more. And then news. If I'm finding news out about course rebuilds or renovations or new courses or anything that's happening kind of the world of golf and travel, I'll write it and have a blog on this website. And then there's going to be merchandise. So not only stuff that we make with the Fire Pit branding and logo, but also merchandise that I use, that I love, that I find along the way. I'll be curating that and allowing people. A lot of times people say, "Oh, what bag do you use? What shoe? What pen?" And I'll just send people here. And this is the stuff I love.
Oh, cool.
So all of that that's the production company.
Very cool.
Yeah. So if you want to send us over a couple of dates, we'll check our schedule to see what feature date works out. I couldn't resist. Hey, you throw me softballs.
We got to send you some of these shirts. This will be the Fire Pit Pit Collective.
Nice.
Shirt.
I like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, well, I got some hats and shirts for you guys. So
yeah, awesome. Yeah, we'll definitely help to promote and spread the word. One of the really kind of so same story here, right? Not that anybody wants to hear our story again, but we started up in 2020, and here we go, and now we wound up, and we're talking with Matt Ginella, right? I mean, one of the voices and faces of golf. And you said so many like really cool things in the sense of, it's pretty damn easy to have this conversation when you're passionate about what you're talking about. And I think it translates. And I mean, as you're kind of expressing, what you're doing and where, I know it's new, but it's really not a new venture. It's a rebranding, and it's not rebranding Matt Ginella. You're just electing to, you're just taking a different platform to tell your stories. Right. And if, as you kind of go down that road, I mean, it really makes it kind of fun, it makes it really fun. It makes it easy. And again, I think that translates through to either the viewer or the listener in a sense that, and the golf community is, I'll say, kind of small, relatively speaking. But, I think people that are listening, I mean, they know if it's real or not. I mean, they know, is this just a bunch of fluff that's kind of getting tossed out there? And we're just, oh, hey, they're talking over there, or are they really saying something? And are they passionate about the direction they're going? So that's a long-winded way for me to ask you. You said that you're partnering with, did you say the
Golf Digest and Discovery? So the Discovery bought Golf Digest, so it's Discovery Media and Golf Digest. So I essentially took chunks of my content and essentially said, look, in some ways, I'll have my own distribution, YouTube channel, social channels, website. But a lot of times you go to these places, and if they're going to spend big money, they want more distribution. And that's the way it is now. We're kind of in this middle phase, right? So guys like Barstool, what Barstool has done is hatched out of pizza reviews in a garage, basically. And it's become Barstool, right? Very quickly. And it's all about that authenticity. So they do, it's all content first, and advertising's, jump on for those eyeballs. And they, so for me, it's going to be about like, I'm in the middle right now. So I've got a following and I've got platforms, but I don't have the mass distribution that it takes to get the big dollars. So if I can align myself with a distribution partner that allows me the freedom to keep creating the content I want to create, then I'm okay with that. And I still have the flexibility and the freedom to go make the other deals that I want, because at the core of it all, it's going to be storytelling. I don't care. For me, it's like, let's go find good stories and then figure out what's the best distribution or platform for that story. It could check multiple boxes. It's always going to be social. It's most likely always going to be digital. Whether it becomes a podcast or a long form digital is the next question. Or, I find it hard to believe, like I'm just getting good stories.
Yep.
Okay, let's make that a podcast. Oh, make that a long form digital feature with a short form, medium form digital feature that we can put out, and then tease all of that with multiple short socials, leading people along, down the line of your content. They might not all go to the 40-minute version, but hopefully they go to the 40-second version, and which gets them to the 4-minute version. And then we'll see if we can get them to the 40-minute version, and that to me is what I'm looking at. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah. What's the gateway, right? So I can't, I've got to mention it because it's just ringing through my mind. I think the only magazine that I actually still get is Golf Digest. I think that's the only magazine that ever showed that I'm actually, that I want. Now there's plenty of crap that comes through in the mailbox. It's whatever, but I think that's the only thing. And as you're talking and yeah, I mean, you have to have you have to have the digital outlets, right? You don't have to have the paper in hand, but I guess, call me old fashioned. I mean, I still like to flip through. I would rather see Golf Digest in its print format than I would go online. Now there's times that I get directed there just because, the limited, you only got so many pieces of paper. I don't know how many pages are in it, but you got X amount of real estate to actually put something on paper. What do you think? And can I call you a journalist, a media guy? I mean, what do I tag Matt Ginella with?
Well, there are times I feel more journalist than others, when I'm really reporting and getting to the heart of a story or sort of unearthing news and writing that, news. I mean, I think we all play a lot of different roles in media now. For me now, I hope to be more journalist than ever before. Quite frankly, I hope to. I may say this. I wasn't always telling the types of stories that I wanted to tell. Sometimes I had to tell stories other people wanted me to tell.
Yep.
That's the business. I'm not going to defend it. I'm going to not to say that but it just is what it is. And the beauty of where I'm at now is if I don't want to tell the story, if it doesn't move me, if I don't believe it, if it's not interesting to me, I'm not going to do it. If it's not shoes, if it's shoes I don't want to wear, but I'm not going to wear them. If it's a shirt, I don't want, you know what I'm saying? If it's not a brand that makes sense to me, I'm not going to support it. If it's a course that I think is bad value or bad service or a bad experience, I'm not going to send people there. And I really walked a very, very fine line for a long time in trying to manage, and that's why I've always done, if you pay really close attention, what I've always done is tried to get other ambassadors to do the endorsing. I'm just there as the microphone, right? So if I get people who go to, Myrtle Beach isn't for everybody. So you go to Myrtle Beach and you find out who is it for, and you tap into them and say, tell me why you love Myrtle Beach. Reggie Sanders lives in Myrtle Beach. There's a lot of people who love and appreciate the Myrtle Beach area for exactly what it is, which is great value, the beaches, the off-course shenanigans. Hey, more power to you. Not everybody loves Bandon Dunes, by the way. I mean, people who like riding in golf carts don't love Bandon Dunes. People who like off-course shenanigans don't love Bandon Dunes, because there's not, there's not a lot going on outside. Right. If you don't like playing 36 in a day, you probably don't like Bandon Dunes. That's so you gotta. It's not for everybody. You got to manage. And the way I would go around it is find people to tell me why they love that course, that destination, that resort, whatever it is, and let them do the talking, and then let people make their own decisions. And I would say, wow, I would go here with my buddies, or I would go here with my family, or I'd go here with my wife. or I'd go here. You know what I'm saying? Like some places are better for certain clientele than others. And we're in a buyer's market. There is an overload and abundance of options for us. So, and that's true everywhere, and not just on the coast, not, no longer. Now Midwesterners have plenty of options to get in their car and drive to great golf destinations like Sand Valley or like Forest Dunes. You know what I'm saying? Like there's not just Whistling Straits anymore. Look at all that's happening, right? So it's a fun time to be doing what I'm doing and finding the stories that I'm finding and figuring out the best place to distribute them at. That's the way I'm seeing it right now.
Yeah. So would you rather have a new experience or a repeat? And maybe a little bit of a loaded question, because it's like, and if you follow you on social, you're a sucker for banding every day, right? So I get it, but just so wipe the slate clean. But it's, hey, you got a new experience, we don't know what it is, or we're going to send you to a repeat and you don't know what it is.
The reason why I love what I do and have loved, and the reason why I feel like I've never worked a day in my life, is that sense of discovery, is that I love and have always loved and will always love the idea of seeing a place for the first time. I just got back from Rams Hill in
those
Borrego.
Pictures looked amazing, by the way. That looked like a damn good time, buddy.
Well, Borrego Springs, California, right? Here I am living in San Diego. I've heard a bunch of Rams Hill. I felt like Golf Advisor ranked it like, number one public course in the country. I'm like, that. I was like, it is such bullshit. I can't believe, that this is what, give me a break. At Pebble Beach was like, I don't know where it ranked, but it was like the 28. I'm like, this is like the whole thing just like broke my mind. So I thought I was, Rams Hill, like they're paying for good influencers to go there and generate this buzz. Well, I got in the car yesterday. We drove out there. The drive itself was spectacular at sunrise. We arrived there. Tom Fazio. Some people don't like him. I'm not one of those people. I love Tom Fazio. He always builds a fun, playable, beautiful, golf course. Now you sometimes get hit on the upcharge because he moved a lot of earth, or it's Tom Fazio or whatever. Right. I don't really give a shit, because at the end of the day, I tend to have a lot of fun playing his golf courses. And Rams Hill is like it's in this valley, this desert valley surrounded by these mountains, like you see in Palm Springs or like you see in Arizona, but it's without all that clutter and chaos and corporatization of the surrounding area. Like it's just pure and natural. And we could not have had more fun. Golfers Journal put on a hell of an event. It was super organized, great people, super fun, great value. The whole thing was, and I walked away going, man, Rams Hill is worth the hype. And
so you're saying that number one designation was deserved.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
It's not number one. It's not number one. It's, I don't know where I'd have to think long and hard about where I'd put it on my list of public courses. It's not, it's probably, I would, right here, right now, having just rested on it for a half a day, I'd definitely put it in the top 50 public courses in the country where, you're going to get a unique, and I'm talking about experience. It's a unique experience because you're surrounded by nothing. You're out there. It's super raw and natural in terms of what's going on around you. The golf course itself, as I said in a couple of the posts, I don't like desert golf.
Right.
I don't like the, playing in the cactus and trying to look for your ball and the snakes and all the shit that's going on around you. And I'm just not a fan. I'm not a fan of like, oh, if you miss it, it's fucking gone.
Anybody that says they would take desert golf over just pick any other setting, I'm calling bullshit. And the only reason you said that is because that's all you got.
Yeah, I totally agree. Anybody's, it just makes and it just doesn't work for me at all. Yeah. And so, but this is, and I say the same thing about mountain golf, by the way. I hate crazy undulations, narrow, trying to navigate. high tee boxes down to low fairways. You're trying to calculate the elevation. It's like, this is stupid to me. It's like, I'd rather play golden tee, to be honest with you. But I do like golf in the mountains. So if you look at Banff Springs, you know, it's not mountain golf. It's just golf in the mountains. You know, the mountains are all around you. And this is not, it's not desert golf. It's golf in the desert. And that's a big difference because you got the room to miss, you hit, you're not looking for it. Weekapaw in Scottsdale is like that, right? It's a great course. Poor Crenshaw, great course. You've got room to miss without feeling, oh my God, you know, I'm going to get cut up in 9 different directions from 4 different bushes because I'm just trying to find my ball 4 yards off the fairway.
When Dan plays desert golf, he goes from 2 dozen balls to 3 dozen.
That's true.
Per round.
Yeah, there is. I guess that is the upside. But anyway, Rams Hill was a great experience, and I told the guy there running it, you know, as I left, I said, listen. You know, it actually exceeded my expectations because I had dumbed down my expectations. I thought, how can this be this good? I was like, really? Now I'm like, hey, I owe you an apology. It lived up to expectations and the hype. I said, but you got work to do. I mean, you need lodging, you need amenities, you need a short course, you need something for me to actually start sending people here for anything other than a one-off. You got to build out the infrastructure because what you have here is plenty of good 18-hole golf. Now make everything else good, and you've got a chance at being a real destination.
Yeah, nice. So great plug for those guys. And hey, if you want to know Matt Ginella's favorite courses, just Google Matt Ginella favorite courses, and you'll find list after list after list. What my question though is give me whether we played it or not makes no difference, but give me a one. You don't have to give me one, but you know, we can't keep you all night, but give me a must play golf course or venue. Throw something out there that just, no matter what you do in your lifetime, you have to play this.
Well, Old Course at St. Andrews. Obviously, if you haven't played the Old Course at St. Andrews, that's the trip. Like that's the trip to the you know, home of golf. I mean, that's all. I always say that's in its own category. And then after that, you know, obviously Pebble Beach is the kind of experience that I you know, I grew up. My dad took me there out of high school as a high school graduation present, and I'm very, you know, I just love that wall. I mean, from 4 to 10 and then circling back around at 17 and the 18th hole and that's Pebble Beach. But if you want, I mean, I think there are instances in which you're going to find, you know, I've always said Forest Dunes in Roscommon, Michigan is one of those kind of like Rams Hill where it's like, what am I doing? Where am I going? We're going the wrong direct, turn around. This can't be worth it. And then you show up and you're like, oh my God, how good is this? You know?
Yeah.
And I think that's true of like Cabot Cliffs, Cabot Links in Nova Scotia. You know, it's harder than hell to get there. 4.5 hour drive from Halifax. I mean, and it's not an easy drive. And so a lot of people don't own access to those small airplanes that get into those little airports. But if you do it, you're going to get Banff Springs, another one. You know, I say to people like, I'm not sure that I've ever been so mind blown because I drove in there. It was night. It was dark. I got into my hotel. Go to bed. You wake up in the morning. You throw the drapes over. You're like, holy shit! Where am I? Because you know you're surrounded by the Canadian Rockies, and you're going, what is happening? I get to play golf here, like. At Pebble Beach, you're on that walk. You're like, I get to hit this shot from the 8th fairway to the 8th green. That things that stir you, that like hit you in places that you can't even describe. Those are the kind of experiences we chase. Bandon Dunes, sunset, you know, end of the afternoon when you're playing the 15th green to the 16th tee to the 16th green at Bandon Dunes. That's kind of like that. I wish everybody can have that kind of spiritual, you know, connection to the land you're on, to the people you're with, to the generations you get to pass it on to say, hey, you know, let's, you know, it's things like that that are out there for us right now. Sand Valley's another, you're going, what the, first time I was at Stream Song before they even built the hotel. When you're going out to these places, you're going, what the fuck were these people thinking? Who is spending the money?
Land must have been cheap out here.
Who is spending money to say that people should come here? And then you go and you go, oh my God, I'm going to tell everybody I know that they should go here.
Yeah.
And that's the fun factor of what it is that we're doing and having these kinds of conversations. You guys probably have 5 or 6 that you tell all your friends about. Everybody thinks that I'm on Bandon's payroll and everything. Every time I've gone to Bandon Dunes, I put down my credit card. I've spent upwards of $7,500 for my trips to Bandon Dunes, depending on the situation.
Sure.
It's not that I'm on their payroll. It's just that it's that good. Like people can't understand that, and I've had Donald Trump call me and say, Matt, Donald Trump, I heard what you said about, me and Mike Kaiser and Mike Kaiser, Bandon Dunes is a piece of shit. And I go, oh, Mr. Trump, I beg to differ. Have you ever been to Bandon Dunes? No. But my friend said it's a piece of shit. And I go, well, I'm not sure we can have this conversation if you haven't been there. And you know how many times people have said to me in social media, oh, you love Bandon Dunes, Bandon. I go, have you been there? No, but I'm go, okay, here, go there. And then if you want to come back to me and tell me it's a piece of shit, then we can have a conversation. We can go, we can agree to disagree, but it's a subjective, it's like, assessing artwork on the wall. Some are going to like it, some aren't. I don't know what to tell you. But if you don't like Bandon Dunes, more power to you. That means that maybe a tea time is easier for me to get the next time I do go, because I'm going back.
Hey, holy shit. All right. Once again, things start running through my mind. And if I don't say them, I can't get to my next spot. I feel like Kurt Russell's brother just did the best, worst Donald Trump impersonation ever. And I waited to the end to say that, that way, if we get derailed or go side. No, it was great. It was definitely great, man. I mean, I love that. That is so good. We're definitely going to use that story.
Mike Kaiser and Bandon Dunes drive Donald Trump crazy because he has said golf is aspirational, doesn't need to be affordable to everybody. He doesn't really give a shit about the little bit. 500, would you pay $550 to play Doral Blue or $550 to play Pebble Beach? I said, I've been in social media for, since it started, right? Instagram, Twitter. I can count on one hand how many times I've seen people be like, hey, I'm here at Doral Blue. I lost 14 balls and shot 110, and it was awesome. Airplanes landing. Huge. Unbelievable. Awesome. You don't see it. But you can't open up a social platform without seeing someone say, oh my God, I'm at Pebble Beach today. It's one of the greatest experiences and walks I've ever had in my life.
Absolutely.
And that's why value is such a sliding scale. You just throw a dollar figure onto an experience and you say to yourself, when you leave that experience, as you're going away, are you more focused on how much you paid, or are you more focused on the memories you made?
That's right.
Bandon Dunes is a place that more people focus on the memories they made. Pebble Beach is a place where they focus on the memories they made. A place like Kiowa or Doral Blue or some of these other, you're going, Jesus Christ, we paid, let's see, it was $550 plus caddy plus food and the lodging, and I feel bad about myself because I didn't even come close to playing to my handicap, and I kind of feel like I'm going to start tennis. You know what I mean? If you're thinking about quitting golf, that isn't the kind of conversations you want to have as you leave that experience.
Good point.
It's called Birdies and Bowling. Birdies and Bowling. or maybe it's Bowling and Bourbon. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Start it. Hey, fucking do it.
Well, shit, this has been fun, man.
It's been a good time.
And I know we're coming up on our time. I could go. I just finished. There wasn't much left, so I'm still in good shape, and I'm putting together as complete of sentences as my East Tennessee upbringing will allow me to. So
I like it.
So I definitely want to get, we'd love to get you back on. We're not running you off, but I know you got other things to do. I know you've got some stories in there.
Yeah. Whatever you guys.
So give our listeners And by the way, I saw you kind of biting your tongue a little bit with some language. You're not going to offend us. I wouldn't imagine you're going to offend any of our fans or followers. So, it's your time. So just be conscious of yourself. And I'm sure you are. But what's a story that you haven't told or haven't been able to tell? It'd be good. Yeah, if we got something with maybe a pro that you played with, it could be a good experience. It could be a not so good experience. We're not in the business of dogging people out, but sometimes when you're not at your best, it may, it could kind of shine. So,
well, the Trump stuff gets a lot. The Trump stuff is always interesting because he was, I'll never forget this, but I was covering, I've been covering Donald Trump quite a bit for my career because
Sure.
he's been in the golf business, developing and buying golf courses. And,
Yep.
And I have said things about him and he watches and then he hold for Mr. Trump. You get a phone call, hold for Mr. Trump. Oh, so here he comes. I've received letters from him. I've received, because he'll say, look, my course is rated here and, you don't know what you're talking about. And, I've had those, and he signs them and I got a bunch of that stuff. And, I'll never forget. I went to Doral Blue and I said to him, I'm sitting, he's kind of having a media day as they're reopening Doral Blue. And so and he says, yeah, and he drove him crazy that he couldn't win me. Drove him crazy that he couldn't get me to. So, people always said, oh, he's not a politician. I said, he's the biggest politician I've ever met because he knows in a room who he needs to, convince or get them on, his agenda. So, if you stayed outside of that agenda, it would drive me. So he would say, sit right here. I want to tell you, he hates Bill Corr and Ben Crenshaw because, they wouldn't work with him. So he drives him crazy that Bill Corr and Ben Crenshaw are revered as great architects. Oh, they don't know, they don't know anything about it. So he said, sit right here. So we're at this Doral Blue reopening and he's talking to me and trying to come in. I know go in and you just have a kind of a little bit of a filter in terms of it's just going to come in. But, was curious. I said, so you've spent $250 million redoing Doral Blue and all the amenities going around it. I said, explain to me the business model here. How do you recoup that at $450, $500 green fees? Like, how long does that take to make it worthwhile? He goes, you think I'm giving a shit about green fees? Green fees? Come here. Come on. I'll show you what my business is. And we get up from the table. And there's probably 25 people at the table and a couple of his people come with us. And he goes, come on, I got to show you something. Come with me. Hold on. We'll be back. And we go walking through Doral. We go past the check-in center of the hotel. We walk to there's like a conference room that's being used as a wedding. Like a wedding ceremony, reception. Mm-hmm. And he goes, doors fly open. And now we're like in there and people are dancing and milling about. And, here comes Trump and he's got his Doral hat on and his jacket and his thing. And people are, oh my God, Donald Trump. Oh, he's taking pictures. He goes, how many people here? So Jennifer, and she goes, 200 people. How many people, per plate? Oh, it's $1,000 per plate. That's my business. You think I give a shit about green fees? This is my business. Come on, look at that. Right next door. Let's go. Shuts the door, goes next door, throws open the door. It's dark. It's intimate. There's a Jewish wedding reception going on, and it's pretty intimate. And the lights beaming behind. I'm going, oh my God, and people are looking back and say, oh, Mr. Donald Trump. And one of these people goes, and someone comes up, Mr. Trump, you want to take a picture? Yeah, he takes a picture. But how many people here? Oh, 350 people, $2,000 a plate. That's my business. He goes, this is my business. You think I give a shit about it? Someone goes, comes up, okay, so take a picture with you, Mr. Trump. Yeah. And the lady goes, Mr. Trump, you should probably take off your hat when you're doing all these pictures inside. He goes, take off my hat. Are you kidding me? Look, everybody's got hats on in here. Because they're wearing yarmulke.
Oh my God.
Yarmulkes.
Oh, yeah. I can see that happening.
And I peeled out the back. I'm like, oh my God. You know, that was in his mind, that justified the idea that wear a hat. I mean, you know, that's just that's you know, there you go. That's his good.
Yeah. I mean, mission accomplished there, bud. Good. That's a hell of a story. Oh,
But funny, you know, it's just an example. I mean, you know, you know, I think that in this business, you run into a lot of developers who are very successful in other businesses, and think that because they're successful in that business, they can be successful in the golf business. And it's not to say that isn't true, because I think there are people who can be, you know, Mike Kaiser was successful in a different business and is now successful in the golf business, but he took the aspect of his business, recycled greeting cards, and his ability to listen to his clientele, because he would put the cards up on the wall, and the worst selling cards each year would be cut out of the marketplace, and they would replace them with new cards. And by doing so, what he did was always had the most popular cards being made as greeting cards. So he
hold on. You said you were or you were not on the payroll?
I have not. This is just good business philosophy. You know, I mean, I always say, like, he listened. You know, if you're in a room with Donald Trump, he's not doing a lot of listening. He's going to tell you about what he's doing and how he's doing it. Yeah. Mike Kaiser will do very little talking, and he does a lot of listening. He will sit around, and I always say, if I did a book on Mike Kaiser, it would be called "What Do We Think?" Because he asks that question constantly. What do we think about this bunker? What do we think about the idea of adding lodging? What do we think about the idea of another? What do we think about a putting course at Bandon Dunes that I'm not going to charge people to play? What do we think? And I would say, Mr. Kaiser, I don't think that's a good idea. You're creating a short course that's going to undermine your big course business philosophy. You add a putting course for free. You've got a bunch of people running around on your golf course, not destination, not spending a lot of money. Yeah. But and he goes, well, I see your point, Matt, but I want them to come back. It's not just that I want them to be here once. I want them to feel so good about what they did and time and money spent that they are inclined to come back. That's my business. And I was like, that's why you're Mike Kaiser and I'm the asshole named Matt Ginella. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like that's you come across, you know, again, you find yourself at dinners with very rich and successful people, and you wonder, how are they going to make it in the golf business, or will they make it in the golf business? And most of the time they don't. But there are the people who do, and it's because I think they go do their due diligence. They see who their competition is. They assess that competition, and they try to do things better. And that's why we're in the position we're in now, is at a buyer's market, because even the failed versions of what we're talking about have now been bought up by someone else who's going to get it a better value, therefore charge less money for it and make it a better experience. And so that's why this just keeps churning out better options for us.
Well, and gives us opportunities to have a conversation with individuals that we otherwise wouldn't have. I mean, that's the rewarding part, right? I mean, selfishly, what's the chance, Cal and Dan are going to get to talk to Matt Ginella? I mean, maybe a, hey, how you doing? I mean, you're a nice guy, but I'm saying, we in passing, right? I mean, definitely nothing to this level and in depth. So, I hope this isn't the last time we do this, by the way.
Well, next time I'm going to be drinking with you guys.
Oh, that'd be great.
I feel like I showed up to a gunfight with a knife. It doesn't really work. I got that Coke here. This doesn't work. It's missing.
Hold on. You're the only one that doesn't know there's not something else in there. I know there's lots of double negatives and such in there. So
if I did though. So
you sir, let the cat out of the bag on that one. Hold on. So let me hit you with a few questions. So these are just not yes or no's, but kind of one-liners. Favorite club in the bag?
My new putter. I grabbed a putter from John Ashworth's collection Scotty Cameron, and I don't change putters. I've had a never compromise called the Gambler for 14 years. And I always felt like I putted good enough at different times in my life with it that I knew it was never the putter. It was me. Right. I mean,
yeah.
And I started putting with this thing in his backyard, little putting course he's got. And I was like, man, I might try this. And
what model?
I'm not going to even be able to tell you what model it is. It's in my car right now. I'll text you back so you can
awesome.
You include the model. But
yeah, cool.
It's not something that I'm familiar with. I don't change a lot of putters, but my new favorite club is this putter. I also have the original Callaway X Hot 3-wood that the minute I got it, I bought another one because in case I ever lost it or broke it or it got stolen, I wanted. I mean, 3-wood is pretty special. And then I've got a Gapper 4-iron by TaylorMade that I'm using to hit like 220, 230 off the tee, that if you get into these narrow, a long par fours,
speed slot kind of thing.
Yeah, kind of a thing where I can count on it for staying in bounds.
There you go, bragging again. Gonna have to. I'm gonna get a little tally list on. So what's the handicap at?
7.2 is the index right now.
All right.
But I'm working really hard. Dean Wilson lives locally. He's become a good friend, has taken a vested interest in my swing and trying to make sure that I'm letting the club sort of fall into the slot and not cutting across, which I've been doing for so long.
Yeah, kind of over the top kind of thing. Yeah,
a little bit. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of I just cast out at the top. I've spent my whole life, instead of coming in, I'm going. That first move is always like, he said, I'm a puller, and instead of just dragging it through, it's like,
boy, but isn't that so foreign? And I started working with a guy a month or two ago, and I just not formally taught to play golf. I just said, well, shit, it's a stick and a ball. I'm just going to go hit it right and do my thing. And I always wind up. So as you're saying, you're coming in. I always wind up kind of like I'm. What's the right word? Like I'm jammed up in my follow through, it's like I'm not releasing out and through the ball. And it is such a foreign feeling to kind of go, into that right hip pocket for right handers and then come through and swing out and through. It's just so crazy to me. And I haven't got the concept of it down yet. And it's really screwing me up a little bit more than it's helping me right now, but understandably so. I mean, it's a very fundamental change in that, really changing that path and how you kind of get that reverse, that Hogan arch, kind of coming through in your backswing and pulling down and through the ball. So
that lag, people talk about it, and say, feel like you're pausing at the top. And if you get back there and you feel like you pause, what that pause allows the club to do is drop naturally by virtue of gravity, essentially, letting it sort of fall into the slot. And that is, and then I grip it, if we grip it too tight and you try to control the situation, that creates the side spin. And that's what I've been dealing with for so long. But if I'm really committed to now is actually making that extra effort to let it drop, fall in, and then release. And then, so I'm having some success, and Goat Hill Park's going to make me a much better player. So 7.2 now, but if we catch up at some point in the next 6 to 12 months, I'd like to think I'm going to be coming down as opposed to up.
Cool.
Oh yeah, Dan's doing the exact opposite. He's trying to get his handicap higher. So, but he's great. He's great in a scramble if it's handicap. Okay, hold on, Matt. Last question for you, bud. So you said the next time you're having a drink, and it doesn't have to be what you're going to drink on the show, but if you're having a drink, what do you have? And it beer, wine, spirits. What the bar is open.
Woodford Old Fashioned with a couple of extra cherries.
Oh, nice.
Look at you, man.
Nice. I like that. That.
Sweet.
Yeah. I do a Woodford. I for my New York, Manhattan single days, it was a dirty Kettle One martini on the rocks with extra blue cheese olives.
Oh yeah.
That's what got me through my Manhattan days. And a lot of that I don't remember. So I shifted to the Woodford, and then a good bottle of Costa Brown. Grew up with Danny Costa, who started that label. So I'm partial to Costa Brown, Pinot Noir, which is really good. But you know, my wife and I drink a lot more red wine now, cab wine. That we'll usually start out with a Woodford Old Fashioned and then go to red wine.
Yeah. Nice, perfect, nice. Hey, Matt Ginella, this has been I've had a blast, man. I really have, and like I said, I hope this isn't. I hope this is not the last time we meet virtually. And looking forward to meeting in person, my friend.
How are you guys? How you guys doing? How are you guys doing? What are your handicaps? What's the situation? What do you guys?
I'm 11-ish right now, so you're definitely giving up a few strokes when we play.
And I'm the highest you can get, right, Cal?
Let's see. Dan's a 3 dozen ball handicap.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yes.
And you guys live in the same area, or what's your?
No. Yeah. So I'm in Atlanta. Dan's in Raleigh, and I don't know. We've known each other for a long time, and just golfing events and going out and eating, and obviously drinking a lot. And we were like, shit, man, what's more fun than golf and booze? I mean, it's like feeding into. The heartland of America. It's like, well, this has got to work out fine.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Well, it's cool. It's a cool concept. I love your guys' energy. When you reached out, I did do a little, it seems like you guys have got a great thing going. There's room for there's room for so much of this, right? There's so much people who are passionate about the game, who like exchanging good stories and information. And so I appreciate you having me on, and I look forward to catching up again. And if you guys are ever in the San Diego area, obviously let me know, and we'll go play Goat Hill Park, and we'll have some fun.
We'll make it a point to do that, sir. Yeah. Awesome time, Matt. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys. I appreciate it, man. Thanks again.
Thank you.